Hey, what is up guys? It's Lewpac back with another Albion Online video for you. Today we've got a bit of a strange one really. I didn't really plan this video as such. I just kind of had an absolutely insane day of Hellgating with my boys and it all just clicked and I ended up going 100% win rate with a brand new tank build I've never used before and ended up making 16.4 million silver. So I kind of just wanted to share the video and share what happened with you along with some clips and kind of show off because I'm really chuffed with how the day went. So after maintenance then, I decided to look for a Hellgate group as it's usually the best time to get into a strong group. I was using Marvin's room, private Hellgate Discord. I actually hooked up with Marvin and we found a few guys and put together a little group. I ended up in the tanking role and I was like, I just want to have some fun and do some silly stuff today. Now, a while back I had messed around with the pole hammer because the pole hammer, for you guys who don't know, is probably one of the least popular hammers in the hammer tree, but it does have an insanely long stun on the ground shatter ability and it is on quite a low cooldown. With an omelette, I think it's something like a 12.5 second cooldown on the E. So it did have a lot of potential, but it was very energy intensive and it just didn't feel that clean to use back in the day. However, since then, obviously, faction capes have been introduced to the game. So I have the Limhurst cape to provide me energy. And on top of that, there was a recent 0.5 meter width buff to the stun, which makes it a lot easier to connect. So I was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to try the pole hammer today and have a laugh, and for even more fun I'm going to pick the dread-laden fighting passive, which for every 4 auto attacks gives you a 2-second 50% buff to CC duration. Now this is absolutely huge amount of CC duration, more than a fully charged soldier's armor I think post nerf, and pretty much puts you at the CC cap if you're using the authority passives. I decided to throw in a Demon Helm for the Silence CC, which again would be affected by Dread-laden fighting if you happen to have it active when you pop the Demon Helm onto someone. A Knight's Armor for Windwall for some more CC, and I mixed it up throughout the day. I spent half of the day using Royal Shoes for the evasive jump, hopefully to evade things like explosive shots from one-handed crossbows, heron spears, anything like that. And then the second half of the day, after Overcharge broke my Royal Shoes, I was using the Fiend Sandals with the position swap ability. So switching up a little bit, both seemed good, and basically the team went on a bit of a monster win streak. The rest of the composition stayed the same throughout the day, even though we did swap players a few times when people had to go and whatever, but we were using a Trinity Spear Bruiser up front with the Hunter's Jacket for haste and Mortal Agony helm with the Stalker's Hood. We were using a Fire and regular bow backline and a Nature Healer running the normal Druidic Staff build with Druid Robe, Graveguard Helm, and actually Graveguard Shoes for that Battle Frenzy ability, which seems to work really, really well in Hellgates. And I have been some people bringing it out in GVG practices lately as well, so that could be something to look for in the future. So we got cracking and we went on an absolute monster streak. We had some really good fights. We had some, we stomped a few fame farmers on the way. I don't even know how many Hellgates we ended up completing, but it must have been approaching 20, maybe even 20 plus. I was black marketing or marketing all of the loot along the way and just raking in the cash really. I didn't actually sell my tomes, although I have factored them into the overall money made, so I was using my tomes as I went, but a guy who was with me who didn't use his tomes and stockpiled them ended up with about 144 tomes, which is a decent amount of money. It does probably around the 4 million plus mark pretty comfortably, assuming you can get about 40k for them. On top of that, everything I sold plus what I had left in the black market equaled about 12 million raw silver that I made. I was doing some buying and selling through the day, but about 12 million silver made. The funny thing is though, this actually does not include the rune souls and relics that I got. So there was probably a little bit more money than I actually declared. I mean, it could be closer to 18, 19 if you sold all of that. But, we're talking 6 months premium in a single day, 6-hour Hellgate session. nearly 6 months premium. That's pretty good going by any standards. The single best drop I had in the whole day was a tier 7 royal armor, a royal jacket I believe, which ended up going straight on the black market for 1.1 million without even needing a sell order. So that was my biggest win of the day, but there's plenty of consistency in tier 6, 7 and 8 loot. Capes, faction capes and bags are always a good one for the black market, but we were having great time. So the fights themselves then, revolved around just duking it out with the enemy team, trying to control their frontline DPS at first while they build the Dread-laden stacks up, and then looking for a big Dread-laden stun to sort of shut down their cloth DPS. Now on the clothies, the Dread-laden polehammer stun is absolutely devastating. It shuts them down for so long and it's really frustrating to play against. And on top of that, I'm using the Power Geyser ability to knock people up in the air to peel for my team, or even to punt my team in the direction they need to go. It's quite a cool ability, the Power Geyser. It's very unique in Albion Online, and it has a really high skill ceiling, which is probably not the best for me, but definitely a really cool skill to use. And then, of course, I've got the Demon Helm Silence and the Wind Wall. So after I lock someone down with that long-ass stun, my next decision is, where is my Demon Helm best applied? Am I more likely to generate kill pressure by silencing the healer if he doesn't have cleanse, or am I going to be better to generate kill pressure by silencing the guy who's being CC'd so that he can't pop any defensives against the follow-up? It was working really good. The Trinity obviously speeds us all up, so we're super mobile. The Trinity E ability as well gives the polehammer faster auto attacks when he's in it, and with faster auto attacks you hit Dread-laden fighting procs much quicker, which makes it a lot cleaner to use, because often you're sort of autoing, you don't want to pop your big stun unless you absolutely have to until Dread-laden pops. So it was really good playing with the Trinity. It was nice to have a bow for that quick armor shred, the fire for the continuous pressure, and the firewall. All in all, considering it wasn't a meta comp, it worked really well, and we dealt with a lot of sort of cookie cutter builds with the crossbow fire, Heron Spear combo. We dealt with double healers. We had some crazy fun fights, and all in all, a very good day. So if you guys want to check out this tank build, obviously you're welcome to try it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you give it a go. I've even took it into some scrims this evening, and mucked around with some of the Oops boys in scrims, and it seems to have a little bit of GVG potential as well. I think I need to iron out the kinks though, because the energy management, even with the Limhurst cape, is a real problem in GVGs, because the battles last longer, people can reinforce, unlike a Hellgate. In a Hellgate, it's one fight and it's all over. In a GVG battle, people are reinforcing, you go back and forth on chokes, you might win the fight and then come back and you're still at no energy. So I think potentially the Knight's Hell armor might have to go in favor of a Royal armor, which would have the added benefit of draining the enemy's energy and restoring it to your teammates. Hope this video as well serves as a little prompt for you guys to jump into the Hellgates if you haven't already. I mean, a lot of people don't like the fact that a lot of teams are going in flat 4 and just fame farming or hoping to fight other tier 4 or 4.1 teams. But honestly, it's worth the loss even if you die in flat 4 or 4.1, because the fame is so good and you might beat another farming team. Obviously, you're going to really struggle against the properly geared 6-1 teams, but even 6-1 isn't expensive now. People are spending 300 to 400k a set, which isn't huge amounts considering the potential rewards on average from a Hellgate. People should be ready to invest that if they've got a decent enough bankroll and they've played this game long enough. And of course, you can always start off in the blue 2v2 non-full loot Hellgates or the yellow IP capped Hellgates with, less rewards but still fun PvP, and the yellow gates, you can honestly just jump into those in flat 4 and be competitive. Just be aware that being in tier 4 will mean you don't have access to all of the passives or W abilities of weapons and armor, but it's still definitely playable on every level. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little video slash story slash boasting session about how awesome the Hellgates were today. Again, apologies about the footage. I didn't even plan to make this video as such until the end of the day, and I was like, wow, that was such a cool day. I just want to tell all my YouTube subscribers about it. So the footage has been pulled directly from the live stream. I had to download the VOD, so it doesn't look as nice as my usual recorded stuff, but I hope you'll forgive me for that. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and thank you so much for all of our supporters on Patreon as well. Cheerio for now, guys, and I'll see you next time.